At a remote site in the heart of India stands an extraordinary mystery. A group of temples covered in exquisitely carved sculptures, built 1,000 years ago. Lost and forgotten in the jungle for hundreds of years, the explicit nature of these carvings caused a wave of shock and shame when they were rediscovered in the 19th century. What inspired the builders to portray the sexual union in a place of worship? Do they mirror the indulgence of a decadent society, or explain the profound philosophy of a highly enlightened one? In 1838, British Captain T.S. Burt of the Bengal Engineers heard about the wonders of a place called Khajuraho. Intrigued, he decided to see for himself and published this account.
I found in the ruins 7 large temples, most beautifully and exquisitely carved. But some of the sculptures here were extremely indecent and offensive, which I was at first much surprised to find in temples that are professed to be erected for good purposes and on account of religion. But the religion of the ancient Hindus could not have been very chaste if it induced people under the cloak of religion to design the most disgraceful representations to desecrate the ecclesiastical erections.
The basic principle, as I understand Hinduism, is that everything in the world is the manifestation of divinity. Our choice is to bring that realization that everything that we do can be divine.
The temples of Khajuraho were built 1,000 years ago. Science and philosophy were dedicated to discovering the core of the inner world, the self, and found their expression in music, art, poetry, drama, and dance. Into this atmosphere, the Chandilas, the builders of these temples, rose to power. They were Rajputs belonging to the warrior caste and had been feudal lords under the former kings, the Pratiharas.
These new Rajput kingdoms, as they established themselves, one of the important things for them as they became caste members of Hinduism was to express their newly acquired caste identity by building temples. And of course, incorporating sexuality became a very expedient and powerful way of forming a new identity.
Legend recalls that the Chandilas were descendants of the moon god Chandra, who was so enchanted by the beauty of an earthly woman that he descended from the sky to make love to her. Born out of this meeting, Chandratreya was the founder of the Chandila dynasty. Under the patronage of these kings, countless workmen and artists gathered to build these alluring sandstone temples. The first Chandila temple was completed in 954 AD and symbolized their independence. Within 2 centuries, Khajuraho had developed into a major pilgrimage site with 85 magnificent temples and lakes. However, even as the city flourished, the threat of invasion was ever present. The kings had to continuously defend their newly acquired kingdom. Already in 1203, the Sultan of Delhi defeated the last great Chandila monarch. Is there a hidden significance for us in these witnesses in stone of a culture lost and forgotten in the jungle for hundreds of years?
Those figures, they represent bliss and enjoyment and relaxation that you don't normally associate with sexuality. This is one of the things Tantra is attempting to do in modern times, is to bring people away from thinking into their body, into their feelings, into their heart, into this moment.
Tantra celebrates the tremendous gift of the human body, which is seen as a replica and representation of the cosmos. It teaches that there is a way of recognizing our essence by using life experiences rather than denying them. In the West, Tantra is mostly known for its sexual aspects, but this is only a small and often distorted part of its practice. In Tantric perspective, the entire universe is built up and sustained by dual forces. They are essentially 2 aspects of one indivisible whole. The male incarnations of God often appear with a female partner. It is only through the female that creation is actualized, bringing reality and generating life. Out of this union, all creation arises.
For 150 years, they were always talked about as erotic sculptures. But if you look at the composition of those sculptures, they're a very precise design of the union of spirit and matter, the vertical triangle of spirit and the downward pointing triangle of the female principle. It was done out of a supreme understanding of the principles of sculpture, the philosophy, and the meaning of life.
The Wedding of the Gods, the Shivoham festival, is the only surviving link to the past, still celebrated every year in Khajuraho. Inside the temple stands a giant stone lingam, an abstract pillar-like form. The lingam is a manifestation of Shiva and emerges from the yoni, the womb of Parvati. At nighttime, the priests gather with their wives and conduct the wedding of the gods with all the accompanying human marriage rituals. Could this be a key to the understanding of these extraordinary temples?